everyone, and welcome to your next lesson on functions. We have been studying a lot recently what makes something a function given data, given numbers. So we looked at coordinates, we looked at tables when we were given x and y values like that. But now we're going to look at graphs. How can you look at a graph and tell me, is that a function or is it not a function? Now, thankfully, we have one test that we can use that's really, really easy that will tell us if something is a function or not. And this test is called the vertical line test. So if you guys remember, a vertical line is a line that goes up and down. So the vertical line test is a way to determine if something is a function or not. Now, how to do the vertical line test? If you take a picture of a graph and you can draw a vertical line on the graph and hit the graph in more than one spot, then it is not a function. So this is definitely something that will be more easily understood by looking at some examples. So let's go through these examples and determine if the pictures are functions or not. So number one, can I draw a vertical line on this graph so that it hits the graph in more than one spot? Yeah, one, two. Because it hits it more than once, this is not a function. Okay, let's look at number two. Is there a way that I can draw a vertical line, a line up and down, so that it hits this graph in more than one spot? Yep, right there, I proved it to you. One, two. So if that's the case, then it is not a function. Let's try the next one. Is there a spot where I can draw a vertical line up and down so that it hits this graph in more than one spot? Yep, one, two. So this is not a function. And number four, is there a way that I can draw a vertical line so that it hits this graph in more than one spot? Actually, no. Every time I draw a vertical line here, it is only hitting the graph in one spot, the graph of the line. So this is a function because there's no way that I can draw a line vertically so that it hits this graph in more than one spot or one line. So I know right now I have several vertical lines on it, but what the question is asking is, can I draw one vertical line so that it hits the graph in more than one spot? In this case, no, it does not. So this is a function. So our goal here is to draw a vertical line. If it hits the picture of the graph more than once, it is not a function. If it doesn't and it passes the vertical line test, then it is a function. Now let's look at number 5 here. This is an example of a Regents question. So it says a relation is graphed on the set of axes below. Based on this graph, the relation is, it looks like choice 4 got cut off. So you know what? We'll go between these three choices. Well, first off, is there a way for me to draw a vertical line and hit this graph more than once? Again, the graph of the parabola, this shape. Well, granted, my lines here are not perfectly straight, so let's use one of these. Nope, hits once. That one hits once, once. So no, it looks like the graphs only hit in one spot every single time. So it is a function. So we're between 1 and 2. Now it is a function because it passes the horizontal line test, or it is a function because it passes the vertical line test. The choice is always vertical line test. This horizontal line test is something we do not talk about in this class. Always, always, always the vertical line test is what makes something a function. All right, so I think now you guys have your problem addict to work on. I think there's about 7 questions on there because they are pretty simple. Just imagine drawing some vertical lines and graphs. That's about as much as you're going to do on that one. As always, let me know if you have any questions. And remember, if you score a 1 on an assignment, I will ask you to retry it and redo it so that you can get your full credit for the passing score. All right, take care, everyone.